Well, he's still in justice now. I been waiting we go call am, and they gave him 21 days. The soldier wey send picture say hungry dey wire them for war front. They dismissed the soldier and let him go. If soldiers are hungry, can they fight? This is the reason why Boko Haram is getting stronger and the insecurity is getting wilder. It's because the soldiers are not well fed. I just got back from South Africa where soldier is collecting about 2 million a month. In Nigeria, they pay them less than 200,000. They treat them anyhow. And they want them to still defend the nation. We are going back to Abacha days. These people where we have at the villa, they are Agbada, they are soldier in Agbada. We are going back to Abacha days. That Abacha days, that's when they killed Ken Saro-Wiwa. That's when they arrested Gedifawe Yimi and he was poisoned later by. Now that's the way, that's where we are going. Because this is democracy. How can democracy be like this? This is ugly. So well, they should free Justice Clark now.
Uncle Abeg, Wednesday 10 o'clock, Ministry of Justice. Wednesday 10 o'clock. Televise am now. Wednesday 10 o'clock, Ministry of Justice. Wednesday 10 o'clock.
But they don't have power to stop that insurgency. So they don't have power to stop Nigerians being killed. They only have power where civilians are. Come and pick someone.
How many them be where we don't go win them? How many them be where we don't go win them? How many them be? How many them be where we don't go win them? How many them be where we don't go win them? How many them be? How many them be where we don't go win them? How many them be where we don't go win them? How many them be? We want to do something before we go. Revolution. To do something before we go. Revolution. Why? We want to do something before we go. Revolution.
And we occupied the office of the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation for hours, asking him to come and discontinue the case against Justice Chidiebere, Justice Clark. And eventually, we got his number and called him directly. He was not in Abuja, but he has said that by Wednesday, he would take a delegation of 2 people from our side to look at. By then, he would have asked the other side
how to discontinue the case. We also suggested to him that if by Wednesday anything is not properly done, we will shut down this Abuja and the Federation on behalf of justice. It's not about justice crack alone. It's about the fact that these people have been taking us for granted.
Absolutely.
And now they are passing us around their circle of impunity. So army will abduct you, it will take you to DSS, DSS will bring you to court. The reason the DSS decided to come to court is that they don't want him to file for his fundamental human rights. The moment you are tried, it is taken that they have done the appropriate thing. That's what they did to Nnamdi Kanu, abducted him. Normally, when you do extraordinary rendition, you can't even try somebody. But this is to justify the illegality of the abduction by the militants. So I would encourage all of you to mobilize massively for Wednesday. If we come to the ministry on Wednesday and the minister is still talking rubbish, we will just take it from there. Let's arrive as early as possible. But we also know that lawyers are making effort to file for bail. I don't like the idea of filing for bail when somebody has not committed an offense, because they also use that to prolong the detention of persons procedurally. He has not committed a crime, and I was disappointed. And I'm saying this is part of what we must do in this country. All these judges in the Federal High Court who accept to send Nigerians to the guillotine at the slightest opportunity, we must start listening them and letting the world know that we don't need judges like that in our justice system. I was in court today and I saw what Justice Abdul Malik did, and I was appalled by it. The summary way he just dismissed the lawyer who was applying for bail, saying that, oh, you have to fight for bail a certain way. And when she even gave her ruling, she's like, we are returning back on the 25th of May to go and apply if there is any bail application. That's what she said. These people have to be taught a lesson that this is our country. And we are not going to be accepting their old ways of doing things anymore. Their shenanigans, we are tired of it.
Yes.
That's the essence of going to the ministry. The Ministry of Justice, according to the Minister of Justice, has never been occupied by protesters before. We are the first to do it. We occupy the place effectively and shut the place down. But it is time to shut down this country until justice is done. So maybe this was bail application.
Well, Chidiebere, Comrade Chidiebere, our brother and our friend, with whom we are well pleased.
Very well pleased.
He is the victim, or was a victim, of forced disappearance until today. The young man was kidnapped in Abuja here, in broad daylight, without due recourse to the rule of law.
Yes.
Nobody in this country, either the government, the military, or the police has the right to forcefully abduct any Nigerian and force him to disappear without recourse to rule of law. An arrest cannot be enforced or carried out without proper administration compliance with rule of law. Where a Nigerian citizen, freeborn, is abducted in broad daylight without access to his families, to his children, to his lawyers, and to his doctors, that amount to forced disappearance, and this clearly violates every known national and international. The abduction of our brother, Comrade Chidiebere, till today, clearly violates Chapter 4, Sections 35, 34, and 41 of the Constitution. And likewise, it also violates the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and the UN Convention against forced disappearance of persons. And there are penalties that were prescribed in these laws against persons, either state agents or state actors, who embarked on such an unlawful acts. We are calling on the military authorities to, as a matter of urgency, identify the soldiers responsible for the unlawful abduction and kidnapping of Comrade Chidiebere.
Yes.
The law prescribes a punishment of not less than 2 years for such officers responsible for these acts. The Anti-Torture Act of 2017 clearly prohibits it. And several other international laws. So we are calling on the authorities to, as a matter of urgency, and Nigerians are very, very interested in knowing the persons who embark in these unlawful activities. Comrade Chidiebere is not a criminal. As far as we are concerned, and we maintain this to this moment, that Chidiebere has committed no offense under the law.
Yes.
Freedom of expression and the duty to expose corruption in every sector, either in the army or in the police or in every other sphere of our national life, is a fundamental right and responsibility of Nigerian citizens. As an activist that Comrade Chidiebere is, he owes an obligation under the African Charter to ensure and commit his time and resources for the advancement and the betterment of his country. This is what he has done by exposing corruption and the unfair treatment of Nigerian soldiers who are laying their lives daily to secure our lives and properties in this country. That in itself is not a crime. The attempt to gag the media space we've maintained should never be embarked upon by these governments. Having elected to embark on this terrible course, we call on the government to desist and stop. Fortunately, they have decided to file a 4-count charge against Comrade Chidiebere Mark. Well, we are in the process of completing the bail application as far as that matter is concerned. The wife is in court here with us, and we are filing a proper motion for his bail as ordered by the court. We have also applied for an abridgment of time within which to seek for his expeditious release. The law presumes that no matter the weight of allegations against a Nigerian citizen, he is presumed innocent under the law. As far as this trial is concerned, Comrade Chidiebere is innocent of all of those allegations against him. We will ensure that we also serve the DSS with this bail application before the close of work today, so that my Lord can graciously come back either on Thursday, Friday, or worst case on Monday to hear this bail application. Comrade Chidiebere was whisked off from his wife and 2 young children on the 26th of April in Abuja. Since that date, he has not had access to his wife and his 2 children. This clearly violates the right of Comrade Chidiebere and his 2 young children to right to family life as guaranteed by Section 37, Chapter 4 of the Constitution. So we are urging the authorities that despite the court process, particularly the AGF, now Section 175 of the Constitution, which gives the AGF the powers and officers under his command to institute legal actions, clearly stipulates that there is a procedure that such actions must be done in tandem with public peace, with the interest of the public. What interest will this instant charge filed by the DSS, who has no business in the disputes between the military authorities, who has been stealing the refunds, the money set aside for the army to feed in the war front? Of what business does the DSS have with filing a charge in the first place? What business does the military have, or does the DSS have, in filing a charge under the Cybercrime Act?
What national security does?
Is the DSS one of the agencies, prosecutorial agencies in Nigeria? They are not. The DSS has no business, has no right to file a charge under the Cybercrime Act, particularly Section 24 of the Act. These are matters that are clearly within the purview of the police. And before such a charge can be filed, the police must first carry out a proper investigation. There must be an investigation report indicting him for committing such an offense. But however one looks at it, a charge under Section 24 of the New Cybercrime Act, which clearly only stipulates that the Nigerian citizen has exposed corruption, should not have been in the first place. So we are calling on the AGF to, as a matter of urgency, exercise its powers of nolle prosequi and discontinuance in this matter. This matter should be withdrawn from court, and this matter should not be in the public space at all in a democracy. Thank you.
At this point, I want to say this. I regretted being a barracks boy. Spending 60 years of my life inside the barracks. 245 Battalion, Armory Barracks, Cross River State. It is a shame to the Nigerian military, most especially the army, that army has reduced itself to this level, whereby politicians are now using the military to oppress and intimidate Nigerians. And in this era, we Nigerians, this generation is the generation that don't care about anything. If you like, arrest us, detain us, intimidate us, or kidnap us, we must still stand on our fundamental constitutional right, because we are in democracy, and it's a must, and it's within the ambit of the law that we must exercise our franchise. No man born of a woman can stop Nigerians from exercising their franchise. Not even Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I could remember when this thing is more political, because when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was an opposition, he led many protests. He defended his people. He came out to demand. He was not arrested. He was not oppressed. He was not being detained by the DSS. But once Nigerians come out to protest or to exercise their franchise, he will be arrested or kidnapped by the military. I want to send a message directly to Brigadier General W.A. Adekoke. We know that you are in charge of the CIC, the department that kidnapped and hijacked Justice Security. I must speak to the last day I die. Nigeria must be liberated. Nigeria must be liberated. It's a must, and no man can stop us. We are going to shut down this country until Justice Class is being released.
The Nigerian army have themselves convicted and sentenced generals that were retired, and even some of them that are still serving, on allegations of siphoning the monies that were given to them through the Nigerian budget that was meant for feeding and buying weapons for the personnel of the Nigerian army. Now, are you telling me that you are chewing back your words and those persons you convicted and sentenced should be released? Because if you say that what Justice Clark is saying is false, then it means that you are already biting back what you have already said.
Yes.
So it doesn't make any sense. Yes. You don't need a soothsayer to tell you that there is deep-rooted corruption in the institution of the armed forces.
Yes, 100%.
You don't need anybody to tell you that on a daily basis, our Nigerian soldiers are being killed in thousands and in hundreds and in their tens at the war front. Due to lack motivation, they don't have a lot of ammunition. They don't even have the motivation because
some of them are dying of starvation. Some of them are dying of starvation.
We need the Nigerian president to rise up to the occasion and set up a special committee to investigate these allegations rather than prosecute and persecute those people who are coming out to come and air their view. It is a misplaced of priority for the Nigerian army and for the DSS to collaborate together and bring such frivolous charges before the Federal High Court. It is a waste of the Nigerian money. Yes. We are wasting our resources on frivolous matter, and we are being philippilistic rather than being idealistic.